Hi everyone, Brian here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an Arduino account and how to use the Arduino web editor. Now we're going to be doing this all through a web browser. What's really neat is the web editor that Arduino provides not only allows us to talk with our Arduino Uno or many others, but it also works on Windows, Linux, Apple computers, even on Chromebooks. So let's go ahead and get started. Quick note about the browser, Arduino recommends using the Google Chrome browser, so that's what I'll use in my examples. And if possible, I recommend that you install the Google Chrome browser. That's the one that they've tested everything with in the Arduino program, but they do state that it'll work with Firefox, Safari, other web browsers. But just to be safe, we're going to recommend using Google Chrome. So we want to browse to create.arduino.cc. Notice there's no W's in this name, so it's straight create.arduino.cc. Go ahead and type that in and press enter. And you'll be taken to a page where it asks you to sign in. Of course, if we haven't had to create an account yet, that's the first thing we need to do is to create an account. You'll notice here, actually on the screen, that it says, hey kids, to sign in, click here if you're under 14. What happens is Arduino set up this system, so if you're under 14, you can create an account with no identifying information. In other words, you can't put in your actual name, you can't upload your own picture, and you need to provide a parent's email address. So what happens is that little avatar will appear and then a special generic name will appear instead of your own name. But we'll see that here in a moment when we type in our birth date. Let's go ahead and choose to create an account. So I'll click here for create one right here. And so you notice the first thing it asks us to do is to put in a birth date. So I'm going to go ahead and put in, I'll put in my birth date here. In fact, what I'll do is I'm going to do it as an example for someone under 14. That way we can know, you'll see what the difference is when we actually create this. And so what I'll do is I'll do 2011 for the date, for the birth year, I should say, and we'll hit next. Okay, and so because I've entered a year for someone who would be under 14 years old, this is the account information that we get. The first thing it says is you can create a junior account. Now I want to point out a junior account will still let you do everything in the Arduino web editor. It's just that you're not showing your actual name and it's not connecting to a picture of yourself. But we can change the avatar if you want to any of these selections here. So feel free to pick one that you'd like, or we can choose a username. Now the username is generated by the system. If you don't like the one that came up, this one's funny, Wild Mallard 20, you can hit this little refresh button, and then from the refresh button, then it will change it to another generated name. Okay, once you find one that you like, then go ahead and type in a password that will work. And as always, password should contain upper and lowercase letters, plus a special character like an asterisk or an exclamation, a question mark. And I'm just going to put in a really simple one here just to move on. And by the way, you can click the little eyeball here so you can confirm what you saw. By the way, don't try to log in with this one because I'm removing this account as soon as I set it up in this video. But you can see with the eyeball, then I've typed it in. Don't use a password like that. That's way too simple. And don't use the word password either. Okay, now if we hit next, then you'll notice the next thing that it does here, it asks for a parent's email address. So then you need to get your parent or guardian to log into their email, and they'll have a confirmation email that they receive where they can confirm your account. Let's say that we have someone who's older than 14 years old. This is the screen that you'll see when we create the account. We'll be asked to enter our own email address, a username, and then a password. And then we need to click on the agreements for the privacy policy and the terms of service. Once you enter all this information and click sign up, then go ahead and close out this window and you'll go to the email. The email that you received will have a link to activate your account. After you've activated your account and you close out that browser also, then we're going to go fresh to the create.arduino.cc website again. Okay, so at this point, you've created your Arduino account, you closed out your web browser, followed the link in the email to activate your account, and then you've closed out that web browser screen. So now here we are ready to actually type in create.arduino.cc fresh one more time. Now, when you go to the page, then you're going to actually click sign in. So we can see here, this is what the screen looks like. And we're going to click sign in because we're ready with our account. So you'll enter your username or your email and your password and then click sign in. Once you sign in, your initial window should look something like this. Go ahead and accept the cookies. Those are notes that the web browser leaves to itself. And these will be important for your web editor to remember settings that you put inside the Arduino program. So we'll accept the cookies. Okay, there's lots going on in this window. Don't worry about all of these extras. For the purpose of this video and then our first day of class, we're looking for the web editor. So go ahead and click right here on the web editor and you'll be taken to this new screen. Our next thing to do, you'll notice that I have a yellow bar up here across the top. And this says to upload a sketch via USB port, make sure the agent is installed and running on this computer. This is the first thing we need to do. By the way, a sketch is the name Arduino uses for a program. So we need to be able to load or write programs here in the web editor. And then we need to be able to upload them to our Arduino Uno over a USB cable. Before we can do that, we need to install the proper agent. Now, this is a little bit different depending on your operating system on your computer. So what I want to show you is, I'll show you how it would work on a Windows 10 computer, but the first thing is always to click Learn More. After we do the Learn More, then it asks you to look for an agent icon in your system tray, and you'll see it's this little green circle with an infinity symbol inside. Now, this is the first time that I'm using the web editor on this computer, so I will need to install the agent. So right on this window, you can see we have the choice. You can install the agent. All right, and let's go ahead and go through the process here on my Windows 10 computer. Again, it may look a little bit different on your computer. I'm going to click on Install the agent, and then it takes me to this screen, and it's saying, Welcome to the Arduino Create Agent Installation. And then I'm going to click on Start, and because I'm running a 64-bit computer, I will do Win64. If you're absolutely not sure, you could just do Win32 if this is a choice you have. But Win64 is what most modern Windows 10 computers are running under. So I'll click Win64. And now what's happened is it's now downloaded the file to my computer. So I will click on this, and then it will actually come up with a new window asking if I want to allow this program to install. So I don't think that came up on the recording, but it did come up and ask me. So now we're following a usual install wizard. It says here it's going to set up the Arduino Create Agent. I will hit Next. I'll agree to the terms and conditions. I'll hit Next. I'm going to leave it at the standard location, and I'll hit Next. And it says ready to install, and so I'll hit Next again. It'll go through the install process. And if you receive a Windows Defender notice like this is because the Arduino web editor needs to talk back and forth over the internet. So we want to give it permission to work on private networks and on public networks. So I'm going to click Allow Access. And then once this is done, you'll notice that I have this little message here saying installing drivers. This is a notice from the Arduino web editor saying it needs to add some extra programs so it knows how to talk to different boards. And you may see more than one. Go ahead and hit yes on all of those. And so then we can see finish, and we're ready to actually do it. Okay. Now, in the meantime, the installer got a little confused because I was taking so long, and it says we are not able to detect the installed agent. So I'm going to click try again, and then it's going to look for the installed agent here, and we'll give it a moment. And so now it says agent correctly installed. So we are good to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And it says, congratulations, you're all set. Go to web editor. So we'll come back to the web editor. So I want to give you a reminder on what just happened. When we logged into our Arduino account from create.arduino.cc, we immediately saw that yellow notice stating that in order to upload a sketch, we needed to install the agent. So we clicked on that Learn More button and then followed the prompts to install the agent. You will need to do this on your computer. If you have any questions, please be sure to double check with your parent or guardian and have them help you, especially because you're giving permission for the internet to install a program. It's good to always review that with an adult. Now that the agent is installed, we can move on to our next step. You'll notice here that right here on this bar, it has the name Arduino Uno, and there's a little red X here. That red X indicates that it does not see an actual Arduino device yet. Now that we've installed the agent, we can actually plug in our Arduino Uno. To plug in your Arduino Uno, you're going to take a USB cable and plug one side of the USB cable into an open spot on your computer. Then we'll take the other side of the USB cable and then plug it straight into our Arduino Uno R3. So on this side then, once it's plugged in, the Arduino will actually receive power over the USB cable. And this is how we'll power up our Arduino during our projects. Once it's plugged into the USB, then you should see the little green power on button. And if this is a brand new Arduino Uno, you'll also see this little L blinking right here, and it's supposed to do that. We're actually going to look at the program in a moment that allows that blinking to work. Looking back now at our desktop, you can see there's no more red X next to this, and the box should say Arduino Uno, but we're not quite done. Hit the little pull down bar here, and you should see the name Arduino Uno and then a COM port. COM stands for communication. This represents the USB serial port that we plugged in. You need to select this choice. In order to talk to your Arduino Uno, we need to make sure that this window right here, this little bar, not only says Arduino Uno, but then has a COM number next to it. In my case, it happens to be COM5. Now, a few notes about this. Your COM number could be very different. It even gets into COM 10, 20. They can get rather high depending on what you have plugged into your computer. Now, a couple of recommendations. One, I do recommend that you plug the USB cable into the same port on your computer each time you plug it in. And keep in mind, even then, you may have different COM numbers come up. But this is the habit. Every time you plug in the USB cable, you want to check this window and then make sure that there's a COM number next to the name Arduino Uno. This will give you a lot of headaches if you don't have this, because when we upload the program or the sketch, we have to make sure that the web editor can talk to the Arduino Uno. The last thing I want to show you in this video is how to upload a sketch to your Arduino Uno. Now, to do this, what I've done is I've closed out my browser and I'm going in fresh. But I want to mention something. Remember that every time you go in to use your web editor, you want to use the address create.arduino.cc. And I've done that, but you'll notice after I've typed that in, what it's actually showing here is cloud.arduino.cc, and that's okay. The web editor is all part of a cloud account, but again, by typing in create.arduino.cc, you're taken to the exact window where we can launch the web editor. So I'm already logged in. I'm ready here to click on web editor, so we'll do that. After clicking on the web editor, because I've restarted my browser, the first thing I need to do is make sure that my Arduino Uno is connected. So I have my Uno plugged into the USB cable, and I'm going to come up here now, and then I'm going to click on the down arrow and select the Uno that has the COM number next to it. So we'll do that. Okay, so there it is, next to Arduino Uno. For me, it happened to be COM5. Reminder that the COM number will vary from my screen, and every time you plug in the Uno, you could see a different COM number. That's okay. The big thing is to make sure it's there. If you do not have the COM number right here, that means the agent may not be connected or your Uno is not actually plugged into USB. Again, when you see the COM number, when you look at your actual USB, or I should say when you look at the Uno, the power light should also be on. Okay, now let's go ahead and see how to load up a sketch. To load up an example sketch, which again is a computer code that tells the Arduino what to do, come over here to the left-hand side and then click on examples. So we'll click on examples, and then we'll go to basics, and then we'll go to blank, or blink. Now, remember, because this is the mouse pointer that has the finger pointing out, that means we only click once to select something, as opposed to the arrow, which requires a double click. So here we are, we're going to click once on blink. And now we can see that the sketch has loaded up right here into the editor window. Now, the sketch, again, is that program that tells the Arduino what to do. We're not going to make any changes. I just want to show you how we would load this onto the Arduino Uno R3. Now that we have our sketch loaded, we need to come up here to the top where it says upload and click once on the upload button. And we know this is okay because we've already confirmed that our Arduino is connected. I'll click this once, and the little upload button will change to the word busy. And you may notice then down here at the bottom, you're going to see different text flying by as the programmer works on talking to the Arduino Uno. As soon as it's finished, it'll give you this message. And we're interested in the part that says done uploading blink. So at this point, what's happened is the programmer on the web editor has uploaded the blink program directly to your Arduino Uno. And just to mention, by the way, the blink sketch is the one that comes preloaded on your Uno. But I wanted to show you how you load up a sketch, one, so the blink is ready to go, and so you have a sense of what it's like to actually communicate with your Uno. Now, on the first day of class, we'll actually work on uploading a new sketch, making changes, and then we'll start to see how we can hook up other electronic components to these connectors. By the way, anytime we plug in any electronic plugs into any of these, we will have the Arduino unplugged from USB. We never want to make connections while it's powered up. So at this point, go ahead and unplug your Arduino Uno. And if this is after the first day of class, then you can move on to your classes. If this is before classes have started, I'm recording this the last day in August 2023, then I encourage you to hold on for the first day of class before you do anything else so we can do it all together. Thanks. See you soon.